Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Let's jump right in. Today we're taking a completely different approach to a really modern rivalry. We aren't just going to read off a dry, boring spec sheet. Instead, we're stepping into an imaginary, talking showroom to compare the latest EVs from two absolute giants in the industry, Tesla and BMW. So what if these electric vehicles could actually talk? Picture yourself walking the showroom floor with me right now. How would these cars sell themselves to you based on their very distinct personalities? It's kind of a fascinating way to look at the engineering philosophies behind them, and honestly, it makes understanding their differences a whole lot easier. Let's walk over to our first contender.
Section 1. The Pragmatic Dominator, the Tesla Model Y and Model 3.
These models, well, they represent the highly capable, tech-forward, completely worry-free options on the market. Our source review actually draws a brilliant analogy for this. They say if this car was a person in your office, it would be the colleague who arrives in sneakers with the latest iPhone. You know the exact type, right? The one who somehow solves a problem before you've even had a chance to explain it. That is the exact vibe Tesla is going for here. It's just this attitude of effortless, modern efficiency.
So how exactly does Tesla pull off that effortless vibe? Well, let's look at their quirky tech highlights. First off, there is no start button. You literally just sit down and drive. It's this bare-bones simplicity that is entirely driven by software. Then you've got seamless access to the massive Supercharger network. You just plug the cable in and walk away, no fumbling around with apps or credit cards. Inside, you get van-like interior space, but it's wrapped up in a really sleek SUV line. And, my personal favorite, the quirky touches. We're talking musical light shows, and yes, even a whoopee cushion audio feature to prank your passengers. It's highly tech-focused, incredibly practical, and just a little bit irreverent.
Moving on to Section 2, the Titan Clash. We're looking at the 50,000 to 65,000 euro range.
Now this price bracket is where decisions aren't just made with a calculator anymore, they're made with the heart and, frankly, with your back. We're pitting the Model 3 and Y against the BMW i4. Taking a look at the hard data from a San Francisco BMW dealership source, if we compare the 2026 BMW i4 eDrive 40 to the 2026 Tesla Model 3 base, you'll notice the BMW actually edges out the Tesla in a few key areas. It brings 335 horsepower to the table compared to Tesla's 286. It also pushes the electric range up to 333 miles versus Tesla's 321. And right off the line, the BMW is just a hair faster, hitting 60 miles per hour in 5.5 seconds, while the Tesla takes 5.8. So on paper, it's an incredibly tight race between two very different machines.
But what if you step up the Tesla game in this exact same price bracket? Get this, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.7 seconds. That's the Tesla Model Y performance. Our source playfully describes this version as a doped athlete. I mean, it looks almost identical to its more practical sibling, but it has the sprint of an Olympic runner. It leaves almost anyone, even vintage sports cars, completely in the dust at traffic lights. Plus, it updates overnight just like your smartphone, meaning your car literally gets better while you sleep. How cool is that?
Section 3. The Aristocrat, the BMW i4 eDrive 35 and 40.
Now, this car appeals to a completely different kind of driver. Stepping inside reveals a massive philosophical divide between the two brands. Over in the Tesla, you get this stark, minimalist cabin built entirely around a single central touchscreen. It totally embraces bare-bones simplicity and pretty much eliminates physical controls. But the BMW? The BMW embraces a true traditional luxury cabin. You get the sweeping BMW Curved Display, premium upholstery, customizable ambient lighting, and, perhaps most importantly for some, satisfying physical clicky buttons. The BMW is really for those who want a classic luxury car that just happens to be electric rather than, a minimalist spaceship.
And it's not just about what you can touch, it's about what you hear, or rather, what you don't hear. Our sources describe the BMW's refined driving experience perfectly as the silence of a luxury hyperbaric chamber. There are no creaks, no rattles. The chassis and suspension are meticulously tuned by BMW engineers to strike that perfect balance between high performance and everyday comfort. It is pure, classic refinement.
Which brings us to Section 4, Bavarian Excellence, the BMW i4 M50. Okay, so what happens when BMW decides to just take the gloves off and build a top-tier, zero-compromise machine? Well, 544 CV. Just let that massive horsepower number sink in for a second. That is an incredible amount of power, and it's unleashed by the i4 M50's special boost function. The BMW i4 M50 comes with some serious superpowers. For starters, you're getting that legendary M Division performance. It's aggressive, it's precise, and it's finished like a fine Swiss watch. It features adaptive suspension and all-wheel drive, which makes the car feel like it's cornering on invisible rails. The interior is just a triumph of carbon fiber and sporty details. But honestly, the absolute coolest feature? The artificial engine sound was actually composed by Hans Zimmer. Yes, the Hans Zimmer, the iconic composer from Interstellar. It literally makes you feel like the main character in a sci-fi movie every single time you hit the accelerator.
Finally, Section 5, in summary. Which personality are you?
All right, after walking this incredible showroom, it's time to take a step back, get a bird's eye view, and match your personal EV philosophy to the right car. If you're someone who wants maximum space and cutting-edge technology at the absolute lowest price, your car is definitely the Tesla Model Y RWD. Now, if your goal is just face-melting acceleration that pins your passengers to their seats, look no further than the Tesla Model Y Performance. On the other hand, if your priority is elegance, a flawless finish, and a classic tactile driving experience, well, the BMW i4 eDrive 40 is calling your name. And lastly, if you want the absolute peak of sporty luxury and you're sparing no expense, you are driving home in the BMW i4 M50.
Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer today. We absolutely loved having you step into our virtual showroom to explore these incredible machines and figure out what makes each of them tick.
But before you go, I want to leave you with one final thought. Which EV philosophy truly owns the future? Is it the tech-driven minimalist that updates while you sleep? Or is it the classic Aristocrat built on decades of driving perfection? Think about it. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring.